Imagine if the secret for boosting your vitamin D wasn't sunlight and it wasn't supplements, but something sitting right in your refrigerator. New research shows that mushrooms can actually produce enormous amounts of vitamin D, up to 27 more times than tablets. And guess what? You can make this happen right at home. Have you ever thought that mushrooms could be your secret vitamin D factory? No? Let's change that. And stay with me because the method I'm about to show you is shockingly simple. Now before we start, have you ever had your vitamin D levels checked? Please let me know in the comments if you did. In the US, about 42% of adults are vitamin D deficient. And these, of course, are just numbers that have been reported, as the numbers are likely to be much, much higher. And for Black and Hispanic communities, they have even more deficiency. And this is because they have darker skin and this absorbs less vitamin D, so they need more. Vitamin D is one of the most important vitamins. It plays a role in immunity, hormones, bone health, mood, metabolism, literally almost everything. It is essential to help cure many diseases, especially autoimmune diseases. And who gets autoimmune diseases? Women. And if you're curious how to cure your autoimmune disease with vitamin D, you can go to the link in the description box to find some doctors who specialize in this type of treatment. Now, most of us, we either don't get enough sunlight, or when we do, we're wearing sunblock, which also blocks vitamin D production. And supplements, they do help, but they're not always absorbed fully. Our bodies are designed to be in the sun, but we usually spend most of it indoors. On average, you need about 20 minutes a day in the sun to get enough vitamin D. Do you know what also blocks the vitamin D absorption? Windows. Getting sun when you're driving in the car through the glass window, this does not give you vitamin D. Sitting next to the closed window at home, this does not give you vitamin D. It does give you UV damage, but it does not give you vitamin D. You need to be in direct sunlight. When I saw the new research on mushrooms, I was hooked on it and wanted to learn everything about it. And inshallah, I'm going to share with you here everything that I found. Now, mushrooms, they contain a compound called ergosterol, which sounds a lot like cholesterol. And it is. It's a kind of cholesterol for mushrooms. And when you expose them to UV light or even sunlight, the ergosterol, it transforms into vitamin D2. And you would be shocked at the numbers. In one study, regular mushrooms had about 10 IUs of vitamin D per 100 grams, which is extremely low. And this is mostly because mushrooms are grown in rooms in the dark. So they're not exposed to much light until they're actually being harvested. So after these mushrooms were exposed to UV light, they shot up to 2,000 IUs. Do any of you know what the recommended dietary amount of vitamin D is per day? It's around 600 IUs. So 2,000 IUs is an amazing amount from just a mushroom. Another study found that maitake mushrooms, they reached over 2,200 IUs, and that's more than many supplements contain. Did you know mushrooms could do that? No other plant, vegetable, or fruit has been shown to do this, only mushrooms. In your diet, do you know other foods that you could eat to get vitamin D? There's not many. In fact, there's only 2 really good sources, and that would be eggs. You get about 43 IUs per egg. And oily fish like wild salmon or trout. The salmon gives you 980 IUs per ounce, and trout would give you 380 IUs per ounce. So if you're not a fish eater, you're probably not going to be exposed to much vitamin D in your diet. And here's something even more amazing. Your body can actually use and absorb this form of vitamin D. In a 2024 review, people who ate UV-exposed mushrooms had huge increases in their blood vitamin D levels. And you know, if you cook the mushrooms, they still keep their vitamin D level. And in one study, they found that baking them, it still kept 97% of the original vitamin D intact. Now let's talk about how you can turn ordinary mushrooms into your own vitamin D factory. So step 1, you can choose any kind of mushroom. It can be the button ones that you get from the store, or the more expensive ones like cremini, portobello, shiitake, they all work. It's best to slice them. This will increase the surface area, and more surface area will give you more vitamin D. You want to lay them out with the gills facing up. That's where the magic happens, so that needs to be exposed. I like to lay them on a rack so it will get more air around them, but your choice. Step 4, you want to put them in the sun. Midday sun is the strongest, so you need to put them for about 30 to 60 minutes. This is enough. And it can be just the sunlight from your backyard, your balcony, or even an open window. You can also use UVB lamps or for another option for getting the vitamin D. So before you put the mushrooms in the sun, it only give you around 10 IUs, but after an hour in the sun, you'll get 2,000 IUs. Now, if you want to get more vitamin D, you can leave the mushrooms in the sun for 8 hours, and this will give you 46,000 IUs. I'm going to share with you a few mistakes that people make, but even after they're done drying, you can take them and put them in the refrigerator, and they will still keep their vitamin D for up to 8 days before it starts to diminish. So here's a few limitations. The vitamin D that mushrooms produce is vitamin D2. It's not D3, which is the kind that's found in the eggs and the fish, and D3 is generally more effective, but D2 still raises your levels and counts towards your daily intake. It's still very effective. You don't want to over dry your mushrooms. You want them to just be sun-kissed but not shriveled up. So, can mushrooms replace vitamin D supplements? Well, yes and no. If you have a mild deficiency, yes. For maintaining your levels, absolutely. For really deep deficiencies, you may still need vitamin D3, but the mushrooms are very, very helpful. And it's probably one of the cheapest ways to help heal your body by just making sure you have the right amount of vitamin D. But also, vitamin D alone doesn't work well. It needs to have magnesium and K2. Together, these really help your vitamin D to actually get absorbed and work well. And let's talk about a few extra benefits for women, especially for women over 30. They have a higher risk of low vitamin D. And this is because they have more hormone fluctuations, stress, mood changes, and this causes bone density shifts. All of these cause your vitamin D levels to go down because all of these are affected by your estrogen levels. So if you don't have the right amount of estrogen, your body will not be able to absorb the vitamin D. So this is super important to think about if you're over 30 and you know you're low on vitamin D, and try and keep your estrogen levels more balanced. And if you need help with any of your health imbalance, I've left a link for a free consultation in the description box. Make sure you can go and watch my video here on magnesium to see how important it is for your vitamin D.